Today we're eating the world's hottest chip, but before we can eat or drink anything to relieve the heat, we're gonna build a game from scratch. This is the PAQUI One Chip Challenge, game dev style. So the game we're making is a simplified version of a classic. You are a player surviving hordes of enemies. Our enemies are going to be the PAQUI chips, and the player is probably just going to end up being a square because we're going to be tight on time. So I brought my own latex gloves. So the idea is I'll put on the gloves, eat the chip, remove the gloves, and then I can start to code because I'll probably be sweating and want to wipe my eyes. And this way it should be a little safer. So we'll put the chip here, the gloves right beside, and let's power on the other cameras, launch Unity, and get into this. I got my chocolate milk and my regular milk, which I cannot have until I finish programming this game. So we're gonna quickly go through the 5 steps. That's gonna happen is my tongue is gonna turn blue. It's the takeover, shock the senses, be alert, probably start hiccuping, start to cry, my tummy's gonna hurt, and then the voltage overload. My brain's gonna be firing at a whole new level. We're gonna finish this whole game. All right, I am absolutely terrified. Let's do this. Open, so eat it, remove the gloves, then let's go. Here it is. Oh my God, it's just coated. Before we get into it, it has been 24 hours and my stomach still hurts, and I can let you know it burns just as much coming up and coming out as it did going down. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, the first thing we're gonna need to do is make a background. So I'm gonna create an empty object, call it ground. It's gonna need, oh my God, it's so chewy. Oh man. A render. Let's pull in a few assets that I pre-prepared, which is a chip, a background, and a couple sound effects. We got a background here. Let's just scale it. And edge. No, not that. Move. Edge collider 2D. Edit that. Holy shit, that's so hot. It's so hot. Oh man. Oh. Okay. Ground made. Let's make a game manager, because we're gonna know we're gonna need that. The player is a square. Let's make the square a lot. Oh, make the ground. Go to the back. Oh, my back. This is actually so bad. Okay, player needs a box, collider, a rigid body, and a new script called player. While that loads, we'll create a new object, cannon. All right, it will be white. Now, player's gonna need a bullet, so we'll just create that right now while that loads. A bullet, and a bullet needs a rigid body, and a circle collider. A circle collider. It's gonna be a trigger. Oh my God, gravity scale, 0. All right. The pain's going away for a second here, but it's stuck in my teeth. So then what we need to do is add player input. This is great because we can just go create actions, create a brand new. The only thing we need to change in here is the delta pointer from pointer to position. Go. What we're going to use is the on look, on move, and on fire. Like my mouth. This is Grizz of the future, whose mouth isn't on fire, so I'm going to help commentate and speed things along. This is 5 minutes, I've barely written a line of code. Essentially, for our player class, we're going to use the on move, on look, and on fire methods built in with the new Unity input system to move the player, have the player rotate towards the mouse, and instantiate bullets. We're going to do all our logic in the player class, so we're going to actually create the bullet object at the top. We're going to need reference to the game object, the speed, as well as the position of where it's going to spawn. Oh, it's like going up my spine. Why is it going up my spine? Mixing in with the other player stats like player health, the rigid body, and the move and look input, we'll be able to put everything together here. After hooking everything up in the Unity editor, I think we're ready to do a quick play test before moving on to the enemies. Let's do a quick play test here. Does everything work? All right, I'm moving. I can move and I can shoot. Beautiful. We got player movement done and shooting. Record time. Let's delete this bullet here. So now the next thing we need to do is create an enemy. So I'll create enemy here. This is where he's going to be the PAQUI chips. Oh, tummy. Oh. Don't even bring it close. It's too tempting. Although I feel like my mind is now starting to go on fire. Is that like the last step? Because that's going to be really good for me. We're going to need a script. Let's go enemy script. The idea for the enemy was really simple. The enemy will get a reference to the player and then just move towards it. Oh! There's the tummy. When it hits the player, it'll detect collision and just -1 player health because we already have the reference to it, as well as destroy itself. In the enemy spawner, all we do is grab a reference to the enemy object, and we will spawn them at random intervals in between 0.5 and 4 seconds, which is a complete guess given the time crunch here, but it turned out to be pretty good. So these should have it so they at least destroy on hit and the game won't blow up immediately. There we go. Destroy. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. And finally, we make a quick and dirty UI using Text Mesh Pro to create the timer and a slider to indicate the player's health. Using time.delta-time, we can just increase the timer. We round that to an int and put that into the text field. All we need to do is grab a reference to the player health, which we made public earlier, and update that every frame. Now, this isn't the most efficient code, but this is the perfect code for this type of challenge. And every once in a while, it's fun not to worry about all the efficiencies and just make things work as fast as possible when your brain and mouth and stomach are on fire. Add it on the bullet. Okay. Is that the prefab? That is a prefab asset. Okay, this should work. This is done, then we did it. And I get a drink. Oh, yes. We did it. We did it. Play maximized. Oh. That is a game. I mean, the UI kind of looks terrible maximized, but time alive, baby. That was absolutely horrible, but it really tests the ability of your game dev challenge. Well, I don't even know, these aren't even words. Like, I'm sweating so hard right now. Yeah, one hell of a challenge. I highly recommend this challenge to anybody who thinks that they are an elite game dev person. If you want to be the very best, you gotta eat a PAQUI 1 chip. Try to code an entire game before you can drink milk or anything else. Yeah, I'm gonna go curl up in a ball and die.